That was probably a bad thing to start off with. Hey, welcome to Anger 18, where, yes, we're finally back. You know, when we said we were going to be doing content that's shorter and more often, we forgot the more often part.
Yeah, well, life has a way of, getting in the way. I mean,
Kicking you in the fucking balls, man.
illnesses on both sides of the
Yep.
mic. Work's been insane.
Totally.
I was preparing for a trial 2 weeks ago, and then it got continued to this week.
Oh,
but
boy.
I'm ready. I've only prepared for this case for forever, so can we just get it done with? Yeah, so it's just been a wild ride, but we are getting back on the proverbial horse.
Yeah.
I think it's the same horse, though, that was dead and we kicked it. But anyway, yeah, but we're back, and today we're going to be talking more Conquest stuff, a little hit and run on some more factions.
Yep.
Very high level overview, just pinpointing highlights of 4 different factions today. So stay tuned for that. I think it's gonna be fun just to go through them, and frankly, the 2 that I've been working on, which was Spires and Sword Kings, like I hadn't looked at them in a while.
Yeah.
And revisiting them after their March update, I'm like, okay, we're starting to have legs, but we'll discuss the legs and their shapeliness and all that later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of interesting, and we'll open up the lore section this time with a little bit of talk about how Parabellum makes changes. So, but for right now, sad news throughout the community. John Blanche passed away.
That was a shock.
It really was. I mean, he was 71.
I mean,
so okay, but damn, I mean, he had worked on the Trench Crusade stuff, and I think he was starting to walk away, back away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
And he had his own little skirmish game that he had done all the conceptualization for. And I read on their Facebook that they're going to keep going forward with it. Of course, I mean, they've probably already invested money in making that. And they were like, he's already done all the concept art. All that was already done. So they're just going to keep trying to go forward. This was literally his game. Not Trench Crusade, he was art for somebody else's game. This was more his, from what they're saying, and so it might be interesting to see what he cooked up in his mind.
Yeah. I mean, he's inspired tabletop board gaming for decades.
40 years. I mean, it's
wild.
Yeah, I've never really liked his art. But there's no denying that his style has guided so much, at least in the GW world, but all over the place. There wouldn't be Blanchinsu without Blanche. And, it's just his style was so evocative of that grimdark.
Yeah.
I think he will be sorely missed.
But also so inspiring for, generations of painters to come, already and to come. So it's sad to see the loss, but we are the better for his, decades of service, so to speak, to working on the art and concepts that we sometimes take for granted, but are so entrenched in now.
Yeah, some of his Sisters of Battle art literally defined how the faction looks and plays.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot deny it. So I just, like I said, I never really, I wasn't ever like, oh, it's a John Blanche art print, I have to have that. No, I didn't enjoy it all that much, but man, his evocative stuff was crazy good. So yeah, we'll miss him, but rest in peace, sir. The other day, I also in the intro, I want to cover this because it was a very interesting video from Ash Barker over at Guerrilla Miniature Games, and he was with I can't remember the guy's name, but from Lord of War Hobbies, and the two of them were longtime GW employees. The one guy ran a store, Ash ran a store at one time, and then I believe he became like a district manager, and they have since moved on to do different things.
Yeah.
Now the other guy owns his own store, and Ash has a video empire, I guess. Is it an empire? Sure. Well, I mean, it keeps the roof over his head, so it's got to be something.
And food in his children's bellies.
I love that. Oh, Lord. But he posited this interesting question, and it was quite simply, when did you lose your passion for Games Workshop stuff? And it occurred to me that there is this evolution, and I kind of started to think about, I didn't watch the video before I kind of got my thoughts together and put them on paper because I didn't want to get influenced by those two.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, it was when they traded away the creativity that they were always known for corporate profit. And their passion for the game turned into passion for profit. And I'm not saying that was exactly when they went, public as a company. I think it happened after that. But I look at companies like Corvus Belli, Parabellum, and especially Catalyst Game Labs, the people who did BattleTech. Catalyst Game Labs, if you don't know, is a group of people who were BattleTech fans. And as WizKids was driving the game into the ground, trying to convert it to their little hero clicks system. And they were completely alienating everyone from the game, turning out source books and fiction that were so questionable and injecting an era into the game for their version of it. It was just like, what in the fuck is going on? And the CGL guys got together and literally just a group of gamers, a group of regular game dudes got financing together. They got everything together. They bought all the stuff. When WizKids realized they couldn't turn a quick buck on it anymore, they were getting rid of it. And these CGL guys took it over, and now it's the number 2 selling miniatures game in the world. And only behind GW and the juggernaut that is a full-scale production facility in-house that very few people can touch. So their passion is the game. You look at Parabellum, and when they talk about the game, it's so obvious that they're passionate about it. Corvus Belli, same thing for both Warcrow and Infinity. They have not lost that spark. Ooh, the Transformers, all spark. Oh, no. Sorry. I don't know why that popped in my head.
Me either. Welcome back.
Thank you. Oh, it's because I saw that Bumblebee video. That's probably why.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
But, it's at the same time, all these companies are run by people who are absolutely passionate about their games and getting them into the hands of people. And I'm including Mantic and Warlord and all those other places. You have GW who glommed onto this FOMO mentality, and they haven't innovated anything in 15 years. And okay, yes, they have innovated. They've come out with Underworlds, which they then dropped. They came out with Warcry, which they then dropped. And why did they drop these products? So that they could bring them back in X amount of years to get that new influx of cash. It's not because there's a core of people that just love Warcry. And when you hear them talk about it, especially watching them with the Armageddon, the 11th edition of 40K coming out, and you watch the videos, the excitement level reaches about 2 out of 10. And I mean, it's in their voice. They're like, we're here to do this video because we were told we have to do this video. I'm not here because 11th is so great and it's going to change everything so much. I'm here because this is my paycheck, and that sucks.
Yeah. Well, you think back to, God, when did I come in? It's been about 7, 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of around 2017. Yeah, so going on 9, I think.
Yep.
And you had the personalities of GW, right? That's when you had Duncan, right? And then he's starting to he starts phasing out, then they're bringing in Peachy, and all that stuff. And the amount of people that have cycled through at this point who are amazing, right? People that you really, really want to see. Are just become themselves, right, disenfranchised, by this company, and they're out doing their own thing now. And now that they're, out from underneath that yoke that was put on them, they're doing really well. And it's not that they lost a passion for hobby generally, right?
No.
It was that when they were under the thumb of GW, it created issues. And we've talked ad nauseum in the past about how the games are becoming so homogenous, and it's not what it was. The the identity of things, right? And how things weren't balanced. Like what's this whole thing about the mythical balance, right?
Yeah.
That they're trying to seek, and it's not like innovative like Parabellum, where each army has its own unique identity and play style, and they still somehow are able to keep the balance in that 49 to 51. Right. And in GW, it's like 45 to 55, right? Is like your spread, right? A 10% spread is significant, you know? And the way they've tried to shorten the gap is just making everything the same, right?
Yeah.
And when everything's samey, it loses its face, right? It's just a mass, of, unidentifiable people, right? There's no individual there, unless it's one of the games that still has some legs to it, still has some breath in its lungs, like Kill Team, Necromunda, right? Those ones where it's like it's so much about, in a sense, the customization, right, or the uniqueness of it, right? Because all of the kill teams are unique in their models. They're not just generic Chaos Space Marine 2. They like the ones they put out are specific for kill team. And so because they have that uniqueness and identity, even though they are the same thing, it's the same pile of 10 wraiths, that you would, sorry, not wraiths. What am I thinking of? The glowy dark Eldar guys.
The homunculus. No. Oh God.
Like mandrakes popped in my head, but it's not mandrakes.
No, it's not. It's, oh God, not paint engines. It's the, oh Lord. Thank God for editing. I can't
It's not the same set of, Chaos Raptors, right? Like they're unique to the Night Lords, right? Like they have Night Lord specific insignia.
Yeah.
They have all the things that make them a faction embodied in this special release that is not indicative of the whole entire army if you were to play at, the 40K level.
Yeah.
And then Necromunda, even though they do have the boxes they release for it, Necromunda is the most kit bashed game. Like you cannot, if anyone gets into that game, it doesn't matter. They'll find pieces from anything just to get the vision that they have,
of that guy they built. Yep.
Exactly. And that creativity still exists there, but it doesn't exist because GW is providing it. It's just that GW is not getting in the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why Necromunda is so original still and still has life to it. But and there they don't care about balance. Right? Obviously, they don't care about balance. It's like RPG-esque. You have crazy weapons, access to stupid things, poison or, being able to just, tank damage or being able to just scare your opponent by looking at them, There's so many things in that game that are just not fair.
Yeah.
And it's so enjoyable. And everyone who's played it loves it. But that's not going to happen in the main game.
No.
Not in the main game. It's too samey. It's too trying to find this mythical balance by making everything so homogenous, making it just like, this is my, oh my God, I'm really tired. My Dark Angels painted Space Marine versus the Black Templar painted Space Marine. And they may have some individual insignia that kind of make them different, right? But we want to make it so their rules are pretty much the same with a slight variance.
We'll change the title, but the stat lines will be the same. And, that's why the internet just freaks out when they release orcs that do something a little different.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, combo weapons are back.
Yeah.
No, trust me, they will get nerfed shortly. Anything that's going to look really good is going away because honestly, the competitive voices have won. And the game is now all about, it's an RTS that you play on a tabletop.
Yeah.
And what I hate is, you can actually see the little buildings spitting out the Space Marines on both sides.
Yeah.
They just shit out Space Marines and then they, shit out Terminators or whatever they're called now. But you're playing on these homogeneous buildings that are specifically designed so that tournament organizers can store a shit ton of them in a small space. Zero consideration to what makes a great looking table. All consideration to how can we make this the best for the competitive folks that are trying to do 32 tables at one time. And okay, it's that's perfectly acceptable. And guess what? They're not going to go under. It's not going to not sell. It's going to sell out. I didn't participate, but it's going to take, it's going to be a house of fire. That is what GW counts on. But their innovation, what have they created lately? Oh, the cog fort and AOS. Really? Tell me you didn't see that coming a mile away. I don't know if you've seen Imperial Knight, you know what a cog fort is. So, and again, it's just same thing in AOS. The homogenized, these are my soldiers that look like trees. These are my soldiers that are short with red hair. These are my soldiers that are tall and pointy hats. And that's it. There's zero flavor to them other than what you inject on your own. And even that, don't bring that to any competition because nobody wants to hear that shit. So, yeah, I mean, I think to sum it up without going too dark is there's so many other games out there where the designers, the creators, the publishers are passionate. They absolutely love every unit in their game and they're doing their best to make sure. And that is the Parabellums. It's the Atomic Mass games. It's the Corvus Belli. It's Mantic Warlord, all those places and these game systems that just drip character. And they haven't, do they make as much as GW? No, they do not. Are they completely content with where they are except wanting to grow? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they sure are because they would rather have a great game out there that is loved by the group that loves it and will continue to buy it rather than just that churn that GW goes for you're on something like an 11.5-year cycle. You'll come in, you'll be completely enamored and then you'll leave. And you'll leave for 10, 15 years and then you'll come back and spend more. And this is what they bank on.
Yeah, it's sacrifice the soul.
Yeah.
Of the game in order to just, hit that dollar mark. And, it's not to say that there are people like I hope that they get into it and are passionate about it. It's an amazing gateway drug for tabletop role playing and tabletop gaming generally, and some tabletop role playing. But and it's an interesting universe, right, to explore. And there's just so much to explore. And it's sort of like when you do finally explore the extent of the universe, right? That's when you start falling off. There's so much they could still do to bring it back. And, I miss the days of particularly like 8th and into 9th edition 40K. It was so fun. Everything having its, unique identities, right? Instead of, okay, what sells the most? Ultramarines. Okay, well, they're going to be the most powerful.
Yep.
How do we make them the most powerful? Well, we give them all the best rules.
Yeah.
And then everyone else we make from there so they don't have as powerful rules, or refusing to even give even within the Space Marine factions, giving them their airtime, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, what about the White Scars? Well, you'll get a special model, and this one doesn't say White Scars, but we all know it's White Scars, right, guys? Like that kind of thing. Maybe they'll find that love and that passion for it again to allow it to be what it is. And, I think it's fitting today. We are talking about Conquest, particularly 4 different factions, and they are so unique.
Yes.
Each faction is different than the last one.
Yeah.
And somehow the game's balanced. How did they do it, Bill? I don't understand.
They're crazy.
Yeah. Right. They're Greek. That's what it is.
Yeah. They're better, smarter thinkers. I mean, come on.
But yeah, that's sort of what it was. Like, you come in and it's so unique in you, and then like the unique in you-ness falls away, and you're just like, okay, well, hopefully it's like, I don't know, chasing a high, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, it doesn't hit the same anymore, right? Well, maybe if I get a little bit more, if I do it like a little bit different way, right?
Yep.
So, if I'm going to take orcs this time instead of, Dark Eldar, and that's going to get me there.
New year, new army, baby.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay.
They're like, are you bored with this last year of what you've been doing? What if you invested the exact same monumental amount of money into a completely different army
That plays the same. Anyway, let's move on to new stuff around the world.
Yeah.
Not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, there's a crap ton, but we're only going to cover a certain few big hits.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned the first big, oh my God, hit, GW's 11th edition 40K. The Armageddon box set went up for pre-sale yesterday.
Yes.
Now, I saw something, and this is anecdotal, and I could be very, very wrong, but I believe I saw something that said, with the Armageddon box, you will be getting a coin, an Armageddon coin, with either the pre-order or if you buy the box in store. And somewhere I read that that coin will be required to play organized GW game.
What?
And I'm like, I swear to God, I hope I'm making that crap up, but I believe I saw it written in print that said in order to play at the store, at least at the stores, you needed the coin to participate in events. I'm hoping that that's not across the board, because if it is, that is literally them acknowledging the fact that 11th edition is nothing more than a coat of paint on a fundamentally flawed 10th edition. Not that it's bad, but it needs some tweaks, and 11th is going to tweak some of that stuff. But that's them basically saying, we don't think this is going to sell on its own merit. So here's the sausage and the stick. If you don't have this, you're not going to participate. And it may just be at like stores, Warhammer stores, and that's the extent of it. Because I honestly don't see Frontline Gaming having a little line where you have to show your coin to get into LVO. I don't see that. But if that is even remotely the case, I am absolutely sickened by it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we shall see. The future will bear it out. The Armageddon box set is a big box of orcs and space marines and some interesting stuff and some rules changes, and I'll pick it up down the road somewhere, but yeah, no interest.
Yeah, at some point I'll probably get the orc half just because I like orcs. But
yep.
That's about it. Yeah, that was the big one. Big one. The big one from the biggest, right? Mm-hmm. If that coin thing's true, I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that, folks. Don't take it as gospel truth.
No, this is all anecdotal. This is me just scrolling through Facebook in the dark of night.
Yeah, it could have been Bill having a fever dream. We don't know.
Yeah, this lack of sleep thing. So just FYI, my wife's getting her new puppy today. It was supposed to be yesterday.
Yeah,
the people are flying in from eastern Texas, and she has been so excited. I haven't gotten any sleep over the last 2 days because of her excitement level and her not sleeping. It's been different, and I have been doom scrolling. So that's where that came from. But on better news, for BattleTech, the Hotspots Draconis Reach book came out. And it's kind of like they wrote a book and they said, what would Bill want to see in a book? Okay, let's write that. And that's what they did. So it's another Hotspots book, which means it's a whole bunch of campaign hooks and campaign narratives, campaigns for BattleTech Classic, Alpha Strike, Aces, you name it. The book is, I wrote down here, it's hands down the best book since the last book, which used to be the best, because now this one's the best. And it's so crazy. They revamped the campaign system to get rid of that win more mechanic that was in there, that kind of everybody had to house rule so that it went away. There's no more gotchas in the system that can basically screw you for doing a good job. The book is laid out in such a better fashion. It completely incorporates the aces modes of cooperative play. They literally listened to everything the fans had to say about what was wrong with Hotspot's Hinterlands, and they fixed it for Draconis Reach.
Oh, very nice.
Not to mention the fact that it also includes Raven Alliance. So yeah, that's the best book ever. But it's if you are into BattleTech, that is a phenomenally good book to have. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say some other stuff. On Malifaux's side, there were some new releases that are actually up for order on the website.
Yes.
So you have Arcane Fate and Carrion Fate. So the Arcanist and the Resurrectionist got their effigies and what's
Yeah.
the other thing called? Oh my god! I'm also
Emissary.
yes. As well as look at that. The Society got theirs too. The Clampets got their second box
Yes,
released,
thank God. I'm gonna have a whole gang now.
and the Vic's second box got released, and Dashiell Barker's box got released.
Yep.
So these are actually for sale now. They're starting to somewhat catch up. The thing that I'm, just checking, I don't know, every few days for is when they're going to actually drop the campaign book, because that's the release that I am just way too excited for, and they can't release it soon enough.
Exactly. I know it's supposed to be Gen Con, but please, for the love of God.
Yeah. They're like, sometime in June/July. And I'm like, hurry up. Like, I'll pre-order now. I'll pre-order 3 of them. Just let me do it.
Yes. It's one of those deals where I think in Weird's case, if you had your product on store shelves already, then doing the FOMO thing, releasing the book at Gen Con, and then when Gen Con is over, opening up the orders for it would make sense.
Yeah.
At the state they're in right now, where they're playing such a game of catch up, to me, I think as soon as I have a product in my hands, the boat has reached the shore.
Yeah.
It's in the warehouse. They need to be shoveling it out the door.
Yes.
Just to get that burn going and that notice. I mean, because honestly, right now, a lot of people I have talked to are like, Malifaux, I thought that game died. I thought it died out. I thought that company was gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no, they went through a 3rd edition and now they're in a 4th edition and it's like incredibly good.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were dead. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, Weird. You've got to get your name out there. You've got to let people know you're out there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, literally hire content creators. I mean, Defective Dice is phenomenal and he will help you so much, but he's one guy. He can't do it all. Get out there. Offer free shit. No, I'm kidding.
Don't forget these guys.
That's too funny.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that before I move over to some of the Conquest stuff. So Winter Courts, huh?
So, yeah, well, this one took
The Founders
me
exclusive.
by surprise. The Founders exclusive Winter Court, which is it's a thing for your the Weaver Courts. It's an aspect. Oh boy, I have to look it up now. Just give me a second. It's an aspect for the Wild Hunt.
Yeah.
And it gives them the winter aspect. The Wild Hunt itself is not out yet. But this Founders exclusive model is out yet, and it's a Founders exclusive. They made a certain number, and that's it. They're not going to make any more of these. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a plastic version, or if perhaps when the Wild Hunt comes out, it's going to have options to build it into any season.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to continue down this road of, for the different season aspects, you will need these bespoke models. And to me, that would be bad because they're limited. Not everybody can get a hand on them.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that. That's not Parabellum.
It's
That's not
not their
Parabellum.
way. So I'm sure they know what they're doing. I have no doubt. But I got confused. I mean, I bought it, yes, but I was very, very confused. It's really cool. It's like a tau sheet on a millipede. Oh God, it's so cool. Oh my God, is it awesome? But yeah, and also the Galaglass Warriors / Warden box came out. It's a dual kit, so you can build either group depending on your needs.
Yeah.
Oh God, they're so gorgeous. And yes, they have been nerfed from the original release. They are not that thing that came out in the first PDF.
Yeah.
Don't even try. Because that original release made Ash and Dawn look like, oh, you're cute. Sometimes you hit, huh? Yeah. No, they're regular good units now, but not that unit. Whoa.
They also announced the cavalry unit for the Euroni.
Oh, yeah.
Demons on horseback. They look pretty sick. Go look them up. And then the Sork Kings got another one of their Jinn. It's the four-armed looking Jinn. I think it's mainly like water and air is what it looks like it represents primarily. And I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But beautiful models. Absolutely beautiful. I think they dropped that announcement Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday or Thursday. So if you're not part of the Conquest Discord and you're a Conquest fan, I don't even know what you're doing. But they all their new announcements. Everything is there. Their Q&As, everything lines up, on Discord. So get on there. Sorry to double back to our previous topic, but like that's one of the things that makes Parabellum so freaking cool.
Oh, the ability to reach out to the designers directly and answer a question. That's what GW used to do. I mean, back in the day, you would call GW's helpline and you would get like Rick Priestley, and you'd be asking him a question about something going on in the tabletop, and he was TOing your game for you from, England. And that all ended at a certain point. And now to talk to a developer, I mean, you literally have to go to a Black Library or an in-house event. They don't let them out to conventions for fear that they might spoil something. Whereas these guys are on their Discords and they're like, ask me anything, whatever. If it's a question and you can't easily grok the answer, we'll help you through it.
Yeah.
Parabellum is the same way. So many times you can see in the dev corner them answering pointed questions about how something was intended, but how it actually works. And then you can see them, they will literally tell you and then give you the number where they're putting it into the FAQ. And when the FAQ is reissued, this will be what it's numbered. So they're obviously copying and pasting that stuff so that it can be added to the big document. And you're just like, wow, okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff from Parabellum. They're always pushing, the creativity, the boundaries they're willing to go to, and always interacting with the community.
Look at the living world. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They're allowing the players to basically dictate where the world's going. I mean, within reason. Yeah. I mean, it's oftentimes a binary choice, but sometimes you'll get 3 or 4. But it's just sort of like, how are they feeling, guys? Like, it's just genius marketing. It's genius marketing without actually putting out a survey. Hey, what do you guys think about this? Right. They like, hey, here's this really cool story. Which way do you want it to go? Click. Okay. Marketing's like, all right. We're moving to this army next. One thing I wanted to add, and I wrote it in pencil for the new stuff, Marvel Crisis Protocol, if you're not aware, new season's beginning. The Operation Zero Tolerance box is out, which has all the new Crisis cards for the new iteration.
Yeah.
And they're still, these are the new set of crises, but they also have the old crises, except for the ones that have been taken away.
Yeah.
Which, for the love of God, thank you. They took away almost all of the problematic crises are now gone from rotation.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And the new crises are out. Plus if you are a lover of Sentinels or, X-Men fighting Sentinels, the new boxes, the Sentinel Bastion and Sentinel Primes, that box came out, and this new box with Operation Zero Tolerance has not just the cards, but it's got 2 of the Sentinel Primes or Sentinel Omegas in it. So yeah, it's a great time to be a Sentinel player. No longer are you stuck with a Prime and a couple of Mark IVs and wondering, is it really fun to play this game? So now the options are crazy. I was watching Aegis Brand Studios. They did a early, they get the models early and stuff, and they did a kind of an early drop of the Sentinels with the new toys, and they were fun to play and play against. They weren't just that I have a tow line and I have the ability to beat you up and that was it. And that's not so much fun. So way, way better now. And of course, it's a great thing to see all these new scenarios come out. Crises are actually scenarios in MCP.
Yeah.
So, and it's a mixture of 2 that makes the scenario, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So shall we jump into, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump into hobby progress and then the show.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You see, for my part, I look upon a promise as binding.
Promise was never occurred to me. I command the kingship, not a private yacht.
We do not have time for your damned hobbies, sir.
All right, welcome back. Talking about hobby progress today. So in the model arena, I somehow was able to find a seller for the Perdita Ortega core box.
Nice.
That's her in La Diabla form. I already had her alt sculpt from the sale, as well as Santana Ortega, which is Santiago Ortega but looks infinitely more badass. So I've got, and then I also just ordered up the Duetto, the husbands.
Yeah.
So I've got those all built and primed, ready to
Nice.
paint. This one is a little bit of that analysis paralysis. Like, it's how do I want to paint them? You know, like how Westerny do I go? Do I want to like mariachi them? You know, like, what do I want to do? And so I haven't quite solidified yet. But because I've got 2 perditas, the first one's going to be like a color test, right?
Yeah.
Because they're both La Diabla, and the special one I would use for either version of her, period.
Yeah.
Just because I like the model the most. So I'm going to be doing test runs on her to make sure if I can get it just right. But I think they're going to be fun to paint. Absolutely awesome. I got to say this. I can't wait for an updated Abuela model, because putting her model together was horse shit.
I'm sorry you hit me that time. Oh my God. Yes.
It was so horrible. I got it done, and she looks cute and adorable and stuff, but they can update that model.
Yeah.
They can really update that model.
Metal. Make it metal. God dang it.
And it's interesting because like everything except for one of the totems, which is the like illegal arms dealer guy, who's not even part of the family. Why would I play him? But anyway, everything else is on 30s. He's on I think he's on a 40, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, everything is we're just normal human sized, and so getting ready to do some bullet bending and that kind of thing with Perdita. I've wanted this this crew ever since I read about them,
Oh yeah.
And I do want to get the Bayou counterpart as well, but I'm so excited I finally got them. So the painting will commence shortly, and then lots of experimenting with Commander stuff, like just a metric ton. I have been on Moxfield.com just cranking through decks. Recently had a challenge put to me to do Pauper Commander, and so I made 4 or 5 decks, and then I'm part of this little like fun friend group where we do like discussions about Magic. And I brought up like, hey, let's do a challenge, and so what it is essentially like someone else picks your commander for you, right? And you don't have to build it in paper, but someone picks it for you, and you put specific limiters on it, right? So my limiter was that it couldn't have blue and black in its color identity, and the commander couldn't like combo with a ham sandwich, right?
Wow.
It's something I needed to really work on. So I got assigned was it Rurik Thar Unbowed, like the least combo creature ever created. And so it turned into, so there's a concept called group slug, right? Where you make it just so anytime any player takes an action, they take damage or have some sort of deleterious effect, right? Because Rurik Thar himself, like his main ability on his card states explicitly, anytime any player casts a non-creature spell, Rurik Thar does 6 damage to them.
Damn.
Right? So like, okay, we're gonna do and he's what we call Gruul, right? Red and green. So I called it Group Slug. And so I made this deck the best I could, because I really think you need black to hit every single metric. But I essentially made it so, and almost every game action that a player would take, they take damage.
Wow.
It's like, cool. Did you tap that land for mana? You take damage. Did you not tap lands for mana? Well, at the end of turn, you take damage for each land you didn't tap for mana.
It's not very fun.
All right. Did you tap an artifact and sacrifice? Did you tap an artifact for some effect? You take damage. Did you draw a card? You take damage. Right? Non-creature spell, you take damage. The only thing that people weren't taking damage from was playing creatures. And even then I had it so if they attacked me, they took damage. Or they attacked me, they would take damage. No, attacked anyone, because it's caltrops. They would take damage. It's just like everything's taking damage all the time, always.
Damn.
Right? So it's just a fun little, it's not a combo. It doesn't like just, I just want, it's very much like trying to play a game of Commander with a group of friends, trying to get like a, couple hour game in or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mostly my hobby. Oh, I am working on a new deck specifically. I'm really grinding on this one. It's Jolene the Plunder Queen.
Oh boy.
I was just looking through rares at the local card shop. And I was like, I need something different that I don't normally do.
To spark some creativity. Yeah.
Right. And then like I saw Jolene and I fell in love with her. So
nice.
I'm going to show Bill a picture here in a second, but look her up. Jolene, the Plunder Queen. She is a yoked up muscle mommy who, her main thing is that
muscle mommy. Wow. Your visuals are just so impactful sometimes. I love those.
Oh yeah. Well, she's going to impact your eyeballs here in a second once I get the picture up. But her thing is whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, they create a treasure token, right? Now, if you would create a treasure token, or if you would create one or more treasure tokens, Jolene makes it so you create that plus an additional one.
Oh my God, she is yoked up.
Yep. And then you can sacrifice 5 treasures to put 5 1/1 counters on her. She costs 4 mana. She's a 2/2, so she's not like spectacular out the gate. No. But if you got the right synergies, which I'm working on, then she can get pretty big. But like I saw her, and then I was looking through some more of the Gruul rares, Gruul legendaries, and I found some other like really interesting. So Jolene, I found Roxanne. Side note: you cannot make a Magic deck where the theme is songs based on women because they don't have enough.
Oh,
I looked it up.
But I mean, she would be the headliner. Yeah. I mean, Jolene,
hello. Roxanne, right?
God, yes.
So I'm looking through this. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow. Sacrifice 5 treasures, put 5 +1/+1 counters. That makes her a 7/7.
I mean, that's not all it's green. You double counters. Come on. Oh, like doubling season.
Jesus.
But so I started getting the concept in my mind. Here's what I want it to be. This is my heist movie deck, right? So I started trying to get all these cards. So I've got pirates. I've got, all these different personalities that like I was thinking would really just fit in, to like a heist movie. I even have the card called The Great Train Heist. I have a card called Getaway Car. Oh. Like I just going wholesale into
Ocean's 8.
Jolene's 8.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, the legendary creatures in there, like I have Minsk and Boo. They're from the D&D stuff. But I was just like, that's funny. Yeah, you have the little hamster that goes in, like unlock stuff. I've got I've got Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer. So it's a little monkey that runs in. When he hits an opponent, they exile the top card of their library, and you get a treasure token. Like, just all these fun little synergies. And like, this is going to be just fun to play.
Yeah.
So
that's all you need.
That was my hobby.
Nice.
That was my hobby.
For my hobby, I should have brought them down, but I painted up 2 sets of the Op4 for BattleTech Aces. So 2 sets of Jade Falcons. I left 1 set with Carrie so that he could, practice and work, and I took the other set. But when we do our combined, oh my God, we have this idea in our head. We're going to need 2 Op4s. So I figured I would just knuckle down and paint them up. So I remade the force list that I'm using for most of my Alpha Strike campaigns because I wasn't... I had a certain theme in mind when I first started doing it, and I didn't really change from that much. And I think I'm basically making it harder on myself than I need to. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go more into a Ilclan era Raven Alliance bent thing. So getting all the mechs, collecting all the mechs, because most of the mechs I needed were not in force packs. Yeah. So it was Ironwind Metals. I talked to the folks out at Ares Gaming, and they pointed me in the direction of some people that had created 3D models, but they weren't releasing them. You had to know somebody that knew somebody to get them. So I've got to get my resin printer fired up and get some of those mechs made. I painted up like a crap ton of terrain for both BattleTech and Moonstone because a lot of Moonstone games got played. There was much rejoicing. So one thing we are going to do, that's about it for hobby progress for me. I actually have been dealing with a lot of other things. My big hobby, the biggest hobby progress is setting down the deposit and the half up front to the contractor to get my hobby space built. So building a building, a 22 square foot building out on the side of the house to house hobby stuff. So we'll be out of this room and into a spacious room. And yeah, that'll be nice. Have a little place to do bat reps and things, recordings and stuff, as well as hobby, and be able to vent it properly, which I can't do in here. So, just fun stuff. That's my hobby progress.
Oh, I mean, that's the biggest hobby progress for us folks because, look forward to that coming. I'm excited for being able to just come in and throw down some bat reps so we could actually record, and have more space to do so.
Yeah,
exciting
and
stuff.
the ability to do overhead shots and what have you that I just simply can't do in here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Who would have thought we'd come this far?
I never did, but it's going to be a fun road going. So
Talk about a fun road going and moving forward. We're moving forward to talk about Conquest now. We've got 4 different factions. We're going to, like I said, do like a hit and run on. So our topics today are going to be Weavers, Spires, 100 Kingdoms, and Sorcerer Kings. Bill and I each picked 2. I really bet if you listen to the podcast before, you can guess who picked which one. I also said at the beginning what I picked, but still.
it's true.
That was not because I chose them. It's because Bill chose his. So like someone in the Underspires, I just get the dregs that drop down from, Bill's highborn seat.
Wow. Do not let this guilt trip work, people.
And so he'll be starting with the Weaver Courts, the newest of the new, the Bug Boys, the army that Bill would inevitably have played no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much, because, just before we started the show, we were talking about my weird predilection for the foresty, Cyanin and Warcrow, of course, Sylvaneth in AOS, now Weaver Courts in Conquest. And, basically, if you show me an Elven Woodleaf folk kind of people, even in Malifaux, I'm really drawn to the Titiana Winter Court, Autumn Court stuff. It's
the operative word being the first syllable. Anyway.
Hey. So, now the Weaver Courts, when they first dropped, they had the seed mechanic, and it was awesome. But it also led to very unsatisfying play for the Weaver Court player, because you were throwing out these seeds, and as they reached a certain level, they would go off. They would do the thing they were going to do. They would have their effect. And the problem was you had zero control over that. And a lot of the times the timing would be absolutely wrong. You would have the seed effect do something to the enemy unit after or too far before you were able to capitalize on it. So figuring out the timing to make all the seed tokens work and having to shuffle them around to units, it literally became a brain power exercise that turned the game from should be fun into an exercise in mathematics. Boring. So they looked at that whole mechanic and said, what we need to do is now not put the seeds on the enemies, you put them on yourself and then consume them as you need them to be consumed. And not everybody gets to consume seed markers, but, a lot of the units do. So the way it reads now, when a friendly Weaver Courts regiment performs a clash or volley action against an enemy regiment, the friendly regiment gains a seed marker. Yay. The regiment can have a maximum of 3 seed markers at any given time. Should it gain a 4th, it is immediately discarded, so 3, limit. Upon a friendly regiment being destroyed, you may immediately redistribute any markers. We actually have a market for these. Any seed markers on it to other regiments within 12 inches. It fixes 2 of the most egregious problems. Obviously, now I get to have the seed markers and use them for what I see fit. And also, if the unit is destroyed, the seed markers don't just vanish.
Yeah.
So now, in order to use the seed markers, you now have a new draw event that applies to everyone in Weaver Courts. So everyone has this, and it's called Bloom, and it is a draw event. When you turn over that card, this happens. If the regiment has seed markers on it, you may spend them to gain one of the following effects seen below. In addition, regiments may have access to other more unique Bloom effects because of their own innate abilities or bestowed upon them by other means. So, For 1 seed marker until the end of the round, the regiment's command stand adds +2 to its attack's characteristics, and if it already has the Barrage X special rule, it adds 2 to that. Only the command stand, not the whole regiment, but still very powerful for just the low cost of 1 seed. For 2 seed markers, you get the Warlord's Bloom effect that's listed in your Warlord Supremacy ability. Freaking powerful right there. That is booming brilliant, especially if you are in your season. If this turn is in the season of your Warlord, that just, wow, that's fun.
Just don't forget, folks, it is 4 seasons. You have
Yes.
the 4 different seasons, and your Warlord is a season.
Yes. And for 3 seed markers, you will gain the battlefield roll matching the current season until the end of the round. So here's the one that you use if you are in a spring turn, but you want to be all wintry. Boom, here you go. You get to be wintry. So it does take 3 markers, but now you have the agency to determine what goes on with your distribution of seed tokens.
Yep.
And how and when you use them, and they don't just evaporate when you get 2 of them. As far as other changes to the Weaver Courts, the leaders have had some changes made to them to at once make them more distinct in their roles, but at the same time, they are now, it's a little bit more homogenous. So if you don't have a particular model, or you actually just want some certain abilities, you can grab that now. Now that almost the entire faction is out in print, there's only a couple of units, like the Wild Hunt is not out there. I think we talked about that in the new products.
Yep. Yeah.
The Wild Hunt itself is not out there yet, and is specifically said by Parabellum they are not playable. Normally they're like, yeah, proxy something to use these, but right now they are not playable. And I think one of the groups of cavalry is not out yet, but basically you can build your army. And now that you know how the seeds are going to work and they work for you, you can do a lot of fun things, and you can build around the different synergies. And as you look at your leaders and see what they bestow as far as seed abilities to the units, and some units that have their own inherent seed abilities, you can build some really fun lists that do very divergent things. And of course, picking your season, super important. A lot of fun things. Made some changes to how the dragons work, which are changes made for quality of life issues, not, they nerfed the dragons and now they're worthless. No, it's literally just, it makes them easier to maneuver and play on the board because, Parabellum's always said, we have issues with flying. We really have issues with flying.
Yeah.
So, but to capture that whole idea of the drakes or the ridden drakes, they're zeroing in on how that's going to work. So that's the major change for Weaver Courts. Now there's, at the same time as this fact dropped, these rules changes dropped, the completely rewritten Weaver Courts army list dropped. So if you are interested in playing them and you've only read the first PDF or something, get the new one because it is substantially different, and how the units interplay and what is available as mainstay and restricted for the different leaders has changed. So go in there and read your stuff. The Tau sheet is now not just the standard auto include. If you don't have it in your list, you've screwed up. It's not that way anymore, although it's still, you want one. And now that it's available, you might as well have one. So, but that's about it for Weaver Courts. Honestly, I'm not going to, we're not going to go over the army list.
Yeah.
In every change, this attacks went from +1 to +2. Just understand that they balanced it across the internal of the faction, and then with the major change in how seeds work, they balanced it for play against other factions. And it's been very well received.
Yeah.
So I am seriously looking forward to my first game with them.
Yeah, they look absolutely fantastic. And just some of the most imaginative models. Like, even talking about how you have a propensity to go for this aesthetic. They've taken this aesthetic, to 11.
They really have.
It's
oh my God.
freaking gorgeous. And pretty soon you're going to have big bad Beetleborgs. And I might literally just buy into Weaver Courts only, hear me out, only for First Blood so I can have my Beetles. I don't like centipede or millipede type things.
Oh.
You know, I've got like a
Yeah.
mild phobia of them where I respond with gunfire. So I probably won't be going too far into the army, but yeah, beetles all day, every day.
Yeah, it's. Oof. I do want to say that there is a new release out for Weaver Courts, so it's a $680 box, but it's your whole 2,000 point army in a box. So they are again doing the army in a box things, which is so
Love it.
cool.
I
But
love that.
I don't know if you've seen the Gallo Glass. They're just, oh my God, they're so awesomely turtle-like, beetle-like. Oh, they're so much fun. So,
Okay.
yeah. I won't show you the picture of the Winner's Bite Founders exclusive because obviously you're triggered by that. So, but it is a very
It's
cool
not
model.
that bad. It's not that bad.
Yeah, just imagine the brass scorpion done by the same people that did it, the original one that was cast resin, where it was just amazingly gorgeous. And imagine that as, updated for 2025. And I say 25 knowingly because it was done last year. Just a beautiful sculpt with the guy leaning over with his weapon. It's just, and it's coming up and it's coiled around itself and it's coming down. Oh, so good.
All right, sorry, not to backtrack to what we talked about near the very beginning of the show, but another reason why Parabellum is sort of outpacing some is the armies in the box, right? It's their 2-player starter sets, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
It's not just, here's this binary, it's Marines or Orcs.
Yeah.
Deal with it, right? No, they're like, okay, so we're going to do 2-player starter kits for pretty much any combination, right? That's awesome. Hey, did you want your entire army for less than $1,000? Less than $900, less than $800. Here you go.
Yep.
Right? That is insane to me. Could you imagine having an entire Warhammer 40K army, right?
Yeah.
For less than $700?
Yep.
No, you can't. You can't. Like, it's not possible.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
Not in today world. So yeah, it's they have really, they understand, and a couple of times a year they have those sales. It's literally Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
It's build a box.
Yep.
And they will stuff just the raw sprues and the instructions into the box, and it'll be usually it's a single army starter, but because some of their single army faction boxes have units that you might have duplicated and not the ones that you need more of, they do that where you just special order what you want in a box. And, it honestly, when you think about it, yes, it's labor intensive for them, but it saves them a lot because all they're stuffing in there is the sprues and the instruction manual and, maybe a art print or something. They usually throw something else in there for fun. But yeah, and they will sell it to you at a reasonable discount. And you'll just be like, this is so cool. I fleshed out my entire army for less than the price of a box of, or, 2 boxes of Terminators or Predators or whatever they are now. So,
I mean, even their basic 1-player starter kits, right?
Yeah.
They have one for each army, and they rotate them too, right? Like yearly, they'll change the units that are in the box, and that gets you like hella far into your army already, And so if you want to do that, and let's say they don't have their 2,000 point army sale going on at the time, right? You certainly can start with the starter set and then customize out from there, and you're still going to be, in terms of, physical money you're putting out, right? Well, way better off. Okay. Side rant done. Spires. So this was interesting for me because I had not looked at Spires for so long.
yeah.
As anyone who's a longtime listener knows, that was one of the first ones I was taking a swing at. A lot of the issues I had with getting into Spires was their old plastic, right? Or their old sprue management. So for the Avatara, the sprues were the circular sprues. So the connection points was a full-on cylinder onto whatever shape it happened to be. Most times it was some type of angle where you had to carve both sides out. I don't know. But the aesthetic was still awesome. It's still amazing. It is, as described, wholly alien to the world.
And they look it.
They do.
Oh,
they really do. And Spires, like, they had so much good going for them, but, you know, they were so heavily reliant on, like, aura of death.
Yeah.
They were just, most of the times, cheap throwaway units that you just, like, I'm going to stick this in front of that thing and hope I AOD you coming in, and then I lethal demise you on the way out, right? And that was oppressive. Like, they would trade up real nasty.
Yeah.
That was, like, some of the tricks with the Strix. Way back when. You could have them come in essentially with like Aura of Death 6 and like Lethal Demise 6, I think. Like, oh no, they're just like, it was just absurd numbers. You know, like, okay, so do you want to be in contact and activate like next to this? No, I don't. Oh, but they charged you. Okay, so activate. You know, you have to resolve the AOD 6. And then they like die to a stiff breeze, you know, so like you're removing the unit, but as you're removing the unit's removing you.
Yeah.
And so because AOD had to go through that huge revamp and everything, they had to really take another look at Spires because they were just the weakest thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like you were just massive amounts of min-sized units. You
and
know?
if your tricks didn't work, your army was not fun to play.
No.
So,
you know, you'd just be sitting there dirtling. Like you had no punch, you know, so if like you didn't get the right setup, you know, and abilities with your Biomancer, right, and your Ferromancers, you know, so when you go into the clash and like, let's say you just like, I don't know, run up against something, you know, with Bastion or, you know, something like that, and you just bounce off the shield and you're like, ah, crap, you know, and then you would just watch your units just not slowly, quickly dissolve as the enemy marches forward, you know. So they had to sort of reimagine them, and they maintain most of their DNA. Haha, if you know Spires, that's a joke. So you have 4 battlefield roles that are defined for each individual unit. You have drones, clones, and automobiles. Sorry, no, drones, clones, husks, and monstrosities. Oh my.
so many puns.
The drones, I mean, like, in keeping with the lore.
Yeah.
The drones are just grown beings en masse, right? That are sent out to do like their menial tasks, right? They send them into battle as, you know, like they're just chaff, right? For the most part. Some of them can be very potent, right? You know, like your desolation drones, you know, and things like that. But the thing about them is that they're not clones, so they don't have actual DNA from the alien entities that are the Spires, right? They're just, because they are biomantic, right? Biology as magic entities, you know, they just grow these things and send them out to go do crap. And the drones are the ones who just kind of dissolve. You know, they go in and they try and do the best they can, and some of them can hit real hard. But then they're mostly just speed bumps, right? The clones are fightier, right? They've got some more of that refined DNA. They are much stronger. Like Vanguard clones are freaking awesome. I think they're the ones, they give like -1 to someone's clash characteristic if they're in the front arc. So they have like a good defensive tech now. Then you have husks. Husks are all the Avatara.
Yeah.
Which, you know, under the lore is these constructs that are created that the highborns of the Spire Society project their consciousnesses into so they can go experience battle without ever actually lifting a finger.
Doing it themselves. Yeah.
Right? So then you have and then the monstrosities are going to be the one brute-sized unit that is a monstrosity is the Incarnate Sentinel, and then everything else are the actual monstrosities, your Abomination, right?
Yeah.
That is like the OG monster unit in the game, you know? That was like the first one to really like make a hit. And God, the original one sucks. Like putting that thing together was horrible. It's all ball and socket joints. If you're not using drills and pinning, it is a horrible experience, just so you all know. The new one looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's so well constructed. But then that's also your Spearbreaker Behemoth, and there's like, they have their own, looks like almost like for those who don't know the lore, right? The Spires created the Wadrone.
Yeah.
Right? So they're the ones who created, you know, all the things that they do. They've also created the Nords. It's a wild society. Yeah. Wild shit. But they also have like their own Pteranodon type thing, right?
Yep.
And then the Desolation and Consumption Beast, some of the most imaginative models I've ever seen. Like those things are crazy looking. So those are your monstrosities. Okay. All right. So you got battlefield rolls. So what? Okay. You have 3 sects. You have the Underspires, right? The Underspires, think of them as the pores, right? Yeah. They are literally underneath the spires that reach up into the heavens, right? Where the colonies of the Society of the Spires live. And that's usually run by the Ferromancers, which is considered to be a lower form of their biological magic, because instead of actually, being biomantic and creating things with DNA, it's just, hey, smell this, right?
You're cranking out blueprints.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Hey, you smell this? Oh, that smell makes me want to go do the thing. Exactly. Go do the thing. And so they are focused on drones and clones, right? Then you have the Directorate. The Directorate is
middle management.
Middle management for sure. That's where you have your biomancers and more of like the military clones that do exist. The High Lord Executor or whatever it is. Your martial hero. That's where they exist, right? In that part of the society. And then, of course, you have the Highborns, which are like your billionaires, right? Who literally like, why don't you make me a construct so I can like play with war a little bit? Because I don't really want to do this.
I don't want to actually go to war, but I want to be at war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Almost made a joke that we'll have to save for anger issues. So there's a different sects and like, they have different focuses. So obviously the Highborn are focusing on husks, right? All of your Avatara that you do have. Plus they also have probably my vote for one of the coolest hero models. It's the Merchant Prince.
Oh yeah.
The Merchant Prince is so fun. So it kind of, if for all those who used to, I don't know if it still exists now, but you remember the Zinchian fate dice, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get fate dice with the Merchant Prince.
Broken mechanic.
Yeah, that's their supremacy ability. So it's only 5 dice. It's only 5, except whenever you roll for supremacy at the beginning, you add that to your pool. Just saying.
Yeah.
But the fun thing about Merchant Prince is the making your opponent an offer.
Yes.
Oh my God! Like this is so fun.
Offer you can't refuse.
Master Manipulator. Once per round before reinforcement rolls are made, you may propose an offer to an opponent. If your opponent accepts the offer, both players select one additional regiment to automatically succeed on the reinforcement roll. In addition, your regiment gains the Vanguard 3 special roll. If your opponent rejects the offer, then you may choose between re-rolling one failed reinforcement roll this round, or once reinforcement rolls have been made, you may choose a regiment to get Vanguard 3.
Yeah.
Right? So fun, so flavorful.
Name your poison, but it's not game change. It's not, doesn't break anything,
But it gives Spires a different level of strategy that they didn't really have before, And
interactivity.
Yeah.
Your ability to engage with the game on different levels has gone up so much.
But that's where, like they started to wrap in much more of the modern level of strategy, modern in game terms, of Conquest terms, by sitting there and be like, if I get this unit on the board, it's going to swing everything. Hey, why don't we just agree to get an additional unit? What do you think?
Yeah. Let's do a deal.
And like, I would say, if you're like the smarter player, unless you have something that is going to counter what they're probably going to put on the board, right? You just decline the offer every time. Yeah. But if they're like, oh yeah, sure, and you're like, okay, and it's got Vanguard 3, baby. So this
well, and it depends on the turn too, because if you failed your heavy roll and you're like, hey, wait a minute, really? You want to do okay?
Yeah, it's so fun. They've taken a lot of the Aura of Death away from them. Gave them a little bit more like staying power in combat. Lethal Demise is still fairly distributed. And then you also have, what's another subsection thing? Oh, everything has a strain ability, right?
Yes.
In reading it, you don't know if it's strain in terms of like the strain of DNA, or if it's strain as in like they're putting forth the effort, because maybe both. But each thing has a strain ability that they can utilize. It's either based off of what your general is, your commander, or it could be printed on the card, right? Yeah. Some don't have a strain, so they just adapt to whatever. This is usually drones and clones, right? But you have, things that'll switch up. Like the Ferromancer can make it so you can choose not to use a strain ability on a card, instead use their strain ability, which is +1 clash and +1 charge.
Nice.
Right? Pretty solid. That's a pretty solid strain.
I'll take that. Yeah.
And then additionally, the Biomancer and the Ferromancer have their unique like job roles, essentially, as what they are, that also affect the abilities that they can utilize. You know, it's like quasi spells.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really interesting because they're more of like static things, or like you don't have to roll to see if they go off, right? Like they happen, and then whatever happens usually involves a roll, you know?
Yeah.
So they have those things going for them. But all in all, Spires is really kind of like transformed into like an army that's actually got staying power. You're still a little bit like, obviously you're more squishy. And they obviously, if you've tried to build some of the models before, they really need to update some of the old plastic. But they're some of the most imaginary models I think that they've put out. Some of it gives me the Dark Souls vibes, right? Otherwise, they're just really alien looking, and
they're
I like that.
Here, okay. Tinfoil hat conspiracy theory time. Are the Spires the thing that the Tyranids were running away from? Because when you look at some of the similarities between the Tyranid sort of way of doing things and the Spires, I wonder if in the back of their heads they were like, 40K is never going to tell us what the Tyranids are running from, because that'll take another 40 years to get to. Why don't we just do it? Yeah. And to me, it's like, the Spires with all their genetic manipulation, as well as reusing the biomass to recreate as needed. Yeah. And shape it into what you need. Yeah, I think these are the things the Tyranids are running from. And the Tyranids may have adapted some of their techniques, but yeah, so that's my tinfoil hat moment for the day.
Or the Tyranids are running from whatever the Spires are running from when they came to the planet.
Yeah.
Because they still have not answered that question.
They got their butt kicked too.
Yeah. And I mean, all that was manipulated by like the quote unquote leader of the Spires.
Yeah.
Who's like, oh man, we need to completely cut off access to the previous world so they don't chase us.
Yeah. And
now he's, prince of this world.
He gets to be supreme leader. Yay.
Right? Yeah. It's kind of funny that Spires is just this alien multi-dimensional race that just like showed up and created some of the armies you might be playing.
I love how they've had their fingers in every faction in some way.
Yep.
They have manipulated everyone, and the best part is it didn't always work out for them. I mean, it never worked out. None of their plans have come to fruition, but they gave us such evocative races, and basically tying their lore into the Norse lore, and saying, having an entire faction that doesn't really understand that you screwed with them so bad, but they can't believe it because our gods are alive. Well, you're not our gods. Our gods are walking among us. Screw you. And meanwhile, Spires people are like facepalm and going, God, they're dumb.
Yeah.
And yes, but they hit hard.
Yeah.
So
it's funny that the Nords were a failed experiment.
Yeah, I love the way that lore just twists into every little tendril that goes. Oh, it's so cool.
It's so cool. So cool. Yeah. So I think Spires, if you like that alien aesthetic, if you like in mass armies that you could do, they're really easy to paint too with speed paints. So they're, aside from having the crappy plastic for some of the older models, they are easy to put together and easy to get on the table. So I've been thinking about revisiting them once I get OD solidified. So yeah. And then are we sure we can do this in one episode, Bill?
100 Kingdoms?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're easy.
Yeah. Are they fanboy?
Yes.
Yeah, all I say is Ashen Dawn.
Yeah.
And then move on.
We just have to move on.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'll just read the designer notes for 100 Kingdoms. We used this faction as our main benchmark during testing. We tried to reflect our love for horses and underused regiments without too many changes to an already well-performing army. I cannot say that this was an order. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they did. The big change for them, two big changes, is their basic army-wide rules, rapid deployment. If the army's warlord has the Imperial subfaction battlefield role, then the army gains access to the subfaction special rule, which is during replacement phase, choose 2 friendly Imperial regiments or 1 friendly non-Imperial regiment per round currently not on the battlefield, and after rolling for reinforcements to gain the Vanguard 5 special rule. The big change here is they included the non-Imperials. So if you are running an Imperial army, and keep in mind, with 100 Kingdoms, you can have 2 warlords, and they will most likely be from different factions, so you get more units spread around. Now you get to apply that rule to everyone in your army, and that's what their designer note was. It's just, it didn't seem fair that it could only be Imperials. And then the combat maneuvers got changed a little bit. Friendly veteran infantry regiments gain the fluid formation and opportunist special roles until the end of the round. If they have the Imperial subfaction battlefield role, they have that as a supremacy ability. And honestly, in the new change, fluid formation is a wonderful thing to have.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it's literally changes to points, and there's, like 4 pages of changes to their spell list, which is nothing but changing the wording because of the changes made in the entire fact. So that was their big change. They did not get slapped anywhere. They didn't get beat up. Points changed here and there to bring some things into line and reduce the efficacy of some units that were still overperforming.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's mostly changes to the wording of the spells because the basics of cover and what's his name have changed.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all there was for 100 Kingdoms. Done.
Yeah.
Now, when we get to city-states, it's about the same, really. So, anyway, did you want to move on to Sword Kings?
Sword Kings. So one thing to keep in mind with Sword Kings is that they are an incredibly complex army to play. Not only do you have the 4 different courts with the 4 different elements that you need to decide, what your different regiments are going to be associated with, right? But also like what overlapping buffs and everything that you need for it too. Because there's a lot of things going on. But in terms of what the most recent update was in March, is that they had to they found out that some rules were too oppressive for some people, creating negative play experiences.
Yep.
And so they also removed markers from the game for a number of reasons, and then tried to retool everything due to they slightly changed some of the wording, with like earth and water and stuff like that. So they had to do these like small like dial adjustments to different units due to what the fire, air, water, and earth things do, right? So like the current iteration right now, so you like your Court of Fire friendly regiments gain Fan the Flames draw event, your Court of Air friendly Court of Air and elemental regiments gain the Opportunist special rule. That's
Very
pretty
nice.
good.
Very nice.
For water, whenever they're charging an enemy regiment in its flank or rear, they get Terrifying and Impact 2. So
just doubling down on those new changes to flank and rear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just are brutal if they hit you that way.
Yeah, so if you see water units, just do not let them get your flank.
Yeah.
Just do not let them flank you whatsoever. And then the Court of Earth units get Regeneration 2 draw event, right? Which I thought was super cool, by the way. Just like being able to have a more tanky unit, like maybe a Mahut or something like that, something you want to like just have sit on an objective, right? And just tank the best they can. Because there's some of their things that can do that. So there's like minor tweaks here and there. Just keep in mind that when you're dealing with Sword Kings, if it's something that you're just like now getting into the game, look into, I really do not recommend Sword Kings as a first army.
Not as a starter.
No, like
nope.
If you're like, screw you, Josh, I just love the aesthetic too much and I want to get into it. Yeah, you're going to be playing on hard mode. Just because you like learning how to, when to enact your rituals, because that's one of their big things is having the rituals that eventually become part of your deck, right? Knowing when to cast what spells, knowing which elements to take, right? I think that, historically, and I haven't looked at some of the data probably in the last like 6-7 months, but like when they first came out and for a good amount of the game, everyone literally just played fire because it's easy to put this thing do more damage, throw at opponent, right?
Yeah.
And that's how people were playing it for a long time. But they are an incredibly nuanced and difficult army. So
and I think before we started recording, you said it, you really have to know how the other armies play.
Yes.
To maximize your even list building and how you're going to deploy, order of deployment. It's Sorcerer Kings is one of those where you can make mistakes in ritual and all that stuff, and you can really kind of hurt your command deck.
Yeah.
For that turn. And going forward, you can find yourself with decisions that other players don't even have to contend with.
Yes.
And figuring out your command deck in that phase is one of the key parts of this game.
Oh my God.
Is knowing the order that things should activate in, and getting it wrong is horrible, but you can usually recover from it. With Sorcerer Kings, if you get a ritual in the wrong spot and your timing is off, you can hork your turn easy.
Yeah, there is a lot of paperwork, so to speak, right? Bookkeeping with Sort Kings. And if that's the type of personality that you have, it's awesome. And I can tell you, like, once you can get it down, it's very rewarding.
And once the rhythm, once you have that rhythm figured out, oh my God. Yeah. You get stuff and you just start rolling.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And, I got to say, those new boxes that are coming out for Sorcerer Kings, those cavalry units, those seahorses,
they're crazy, right?
Are so gorgeous. I'm going to pick up a box of those just because.
Yeah.
I want them.
Yeah.
Not to play, but just to build and have Pam paint in her twisted style.
I'd say First Blood does exist, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And so if you're like, oh, I really like these units, but there's no way I want to get an entire army of Sort Kings, right? First Blood, folks.
Yeah.
First Blood still exists.
And with the brand new rules, it's balls out fun.
Yeah.
It is so good now.
If you like to have fun with your balls out, play some First Blood. But like I said, I'm not going to get into Weaver Courts, but like I want beetles.
Yeah.
I want the freaking beetles, man. And I don't want to have them just like, look, I painted, is it fun? No, like I want to put beetles on the board, and I want the beetles to beat people in the face, right?
And they will.
So I don't want to go too far into Sword Kings. That is like a deep dive that like maybe if we have like a 4-hour show, we're gonna do.
They're
at
a
some point.
faction focus kind of thing.
Oh God.
I think along with Weaver Courts, the ones that have those unique mechanics where timing is everything, they deserve a deep dive.
That is a deep dive for sure. But yeah, take a look at all these ones. I think, as always, every faction except for 100 Kingdoms is imaginative in Conquest.
Who else has a trebuchet and an archangel? Oh, yeah, they're so unimaginative. Oh,
a trebuchet is imaginative. Okay.
It's the first artillery unit in the game.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay. The Archangel is the only thing that looks like, some of the crazy stuff from Conquest.
Oh, my God.
I mean, come on. City-states, they're also human, and they have a much more imaginative aesthetic.
I will say that 100 Kingdoms are the most grounded faction, but they are still gorgeous. Those cavalry units are, they are chef's kiss. They really are.
But again, they are the true north, so to speak, of the game, right? Like,
yeah.
From them, all things blossom, so to proverbially
and
speaking.
It makes sense that you would use your armored warriors, your medieval faction as your bellwether, so that you can depart from the norm.
Yeah.
And make it work. And I think that's a good design choice that they make, and it helps ground the entire aesthetic of the game and the brain, the thinking power behind it. It makes sense, No,
it really does. It really does.
It's you have to admit, Games Workshop 40K, it's told from the point of view of the Space Marine. And that's, they have to have some point of focus.
Yeah.
And then everyone diverges from that. So yeah, every game does it except Crisis Protocol, which is why it's so crazy. There is no standard hero.
The amount of minis in that game now, mind numbing.
It is.
It is. So yeah, those the hit and run on those 4 factions for Conquest. Of course, we'll keep doing some of these little things here and there. Hoping soon that the Malifaux campaign book drops. So that way we can really start working on that project. 'Cause I gotta tell you, I'm stoked. And I'm stoked to kind of like pull my Spires out of the box again.
Yeah.
Just like have another look at them. Maybe play them in First Blood, right?
A good way to get
Take my own recommendation.
grounded into how they work. Yeah.
Yeah. So keep looking at Conquest, folks. If you're already into it, maybe try something a little bit new. If you like that beetle, buy the box when it's out and go play some First Blood.
Yep.
If you want to get into a whole ass army, you can literally go buy a whole ass army. That's the beauty of Conquest, and one of the many reasons why Parabellum continues to be personally one of my favorite companies.
You betcha. All right, so we'll look at that as a wrap. I do want to mention that the previous the previous episode, which was episode 17, this one's 18 or 200 and something. It has not been published yet. Again, have run afoul of the gods of Patreon because there was already a show called Anger Issues.
Oh my God.
Now, Patreon, if you're not aware, has just gone through some major changes to everything. Not only their pay schedules, but how they do subscriptions and how everything is paid out and blah, blah, blah. And they are eliminating restrictions on similarity of content, which until you read way deep into the license and creator agreement, you will never, ever find. But basically, if you try to duplicate someone else's work, they're going to put a stop to you.
Uh-huh.
And this is in response to art generation, mostly.
Yeah.
Because people were copying other people's artworks, even to the point of AI accounts copying other AI accounts. Yeah, I thought that was kind of comical. So this issue is going to be resolved during this week. This is June 5th, which is Monday, is when the previous restrictions are going to go away. So Anger Issues, or even After Dark, will come back and be unhindered by copyright strikes. Internally generated, AI-generated copyright issues, which are so stupid because the minute a human looks at it and goes, oh, yeah, this is your show, it's completely different. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. We'll approve it for publishing. They approve it for posting, and then the AI kicks it. And there's like nothing they can do because they're not in the loop at the point to where they can just hit release to public.
Yeah.
They're at the point to where it's like release to public and then processed through our different layers of
Jesus
AI bullshit. So yeah, Anger Issues will be coming Monday. It will be the drop for episode 17. So by the time you hear this show, you will have already heard that if you're a Patreon. So, but coming up in Anger Issues, we got some stuff. We have moved our abbreviated bat reps are going into after our Anger Issues.
After Anger Dark Issues.
Yes, those things. As well as some highlights of some computer games, some Heroescape stuff, some Hex Tech stuff, all kinds of cool stuff.
So yeah, join us in Issue Dark Anger After if you want to tune in for that stuff. I don't know what it's going to be next week, but I just hope you guys will be there. Thanks for joining us, and go play some Conquest.
The Albuquerque Narrative Gamers Podcast, or Anger Podcast, is protected under the Creative Commons license. You can find information for this at creativecommons.org. Information and links about the show's topics will be in the show notes, as will any other copyright information that needs to be presented.